I wasn't gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Whatever. Like I'm unhinged today. I'm gonna start talking.
Welcome back, everyone, to Chaotic Angels with Shotguns. I am Allie,
And I'm Casey.
and we are back for another episode of Chaos and of a very unhinged Casey. We were off for a week, but we are back. And um, remember that our podcast is about TV shows, movies, and everything that you like or dislike. And we are going to be phrasing our opinions. So you're welcome to join the conversation or leave it. And what's the topic for today, for this week, Casey?
Well, you have told me to watch this TV show, so I did. We're talking about Pam and Tommy, which is a TV show that I was hesitant to watch, but you convinced me in a way that made me want to watch it. So I started watching it, and it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It made me angry. It made me want to throw hands. Um, it had left me very unhinged. So I'm like completely ready for this for this podcast right now. I am ready to unleash all hell. I'm ready. So
Yeah, so I'm guilty of that. I introduced Casey to the show. And I gotta say that, to be honest, if Sebastian Stan hadn't been on this show, I probably wouldn't have watched it. Um, but to be honest, when I learned that Sebastian was going to be on this show, obviously Sebastian is very attractive and we are all in love with him. But I also admire him because he is a very, brave actor and he always takes on, difficult roles that probably nobody wants to take. And he does that and he does it well. So that was probably my first, the first thing that pushed me to watch the show because he was there and because I knew the kind of actor that he was. And I was very surprised when I saw that show. Because first of all, I did watch it like weekly when it came out every week, and it was a pain because the episodes felt so short. Like, um, oh, I was watching it and suddenly the credits came on, and I was thinking, "That's it. I need more." And I feel like that was a constant feeling that this show gave me. It was very very entertaining in many ways. The choices that they made were very entertaining. So probably the show is problematic, but we have our opinions here, and I even wrote about this about some episodes. So yeah, what was your take on the show when you started watching it?
well, at first, I was a little skeptical, because I love the band Motley Crue, like a huge fan of theirs, love their music. I love them. But like the whole thing with Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson, I did not know that they were actually dating. Because when the tape released, I was literally not even born yet. So like I didn't know anything about it. When it like started progressing and like people were talking about when Kim's tape came out, they were talking about Pam and Tommy's or whatever, and I saw like a little snippet of it, and I didn't really look at it because I was like, this is literally porn. But then like it's just I didn't look at it, but the more that I researched and the more that I like, when I started watching the TV show, I started researching, as you do. And I started looking at it, and I did not know that like Pamela Anderson had to go through all of this stuff. Like I know that people like to tell me that Tommy Lee was on the tape too, but Pamela was way different. Like Pamela's a woman, first of all, and she started making Playboy shoots when she was like like little, you know what I mean? I think she was 18 or something, but like the thing is like I started to just like feel so bad for her like at that very moment. But also I knew Tommy Lee because of the band Motley Crue, but also there's a YouTuber called Trisha Paytas. Everybody knows her, very problematic. She posted a picture of her and her ex-boyfriend Jason Nash. She was Pamela and he was Tommy Lee, and they posted a picture together. And Tommy had made a comment towards her talking about her weight, and it bothered me a lot. And he was definitely an asshole. So like we all knew that he was an asshole. Like everybody knows it. You know, this man is not a good person. Like he's like not a very good person. But when I started watching this, it just like kind of like changed a little bit for me. Mainly because like my perspective towards Pamela changed. Because at first I was like, Pamela Anderson, like everybody knows her, like, you know, she does like Baywatch, you know, she's hot, whatever, like she has big titties. That's all I knew about her. But like I was educated on her. Like I realized that she's literally an icon. Like I never really realized that she was, you know? Like it kind of like opened my eyes to it. Like she's very intelligent. She's a very like amazing, beautiful woman, and she literally stood her ground. But like, I feel like she wanted to say so much to the lawyers and whatever that was in front of her, which made me angry. We'll get to that. But like, it upset me in a lot of ways. But also like Tommy Lee also upset me in a lot of ways because he was like, I was on the tape too. It's like, bitch, you were on the tape, but you are a man. You literally showed your dick like in a concert, just randomly. Like you do this all the time, and you have no, like, you don't care that your dick is out. Like you don't care about it. But like Pamela's a woman, and she's gonna get objectified. Like it's out there. Like that's why like a dick pic is like whatever, you know, to a lot of people. But like a woman showing her body is portrayed differently because like the amount of times that a woman had sex, like the, you know, like body count or whatever, apparently it matters to some men, which is fucking stupid. Because if you think about it, like women like to have sex too. Like that's just, it's how it is. Like there is no like way that like I don't know how to phrase it, but like a man having sex is like cool, and she tells a woman, and you know if they're like together, you know, she tells a woman, it's like bragging about it. But if like a woman does it, it's like completely different, a whole new perspective. So like it's definitely the same thing that's happening here. That's what I saw. Like when she said the tape was stolen, and then, you know, and then everybody thought that they had released it themselves, you know. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, how would Pamela release it just like randomly? Like that's just so fucking stupid. Like Kim Kardashian did it for like she just released it, like whatever. Like Pamela was a whole different situation. It was stolen from their house, which makes no sense when these lawyers and Jay Leno is like, you just see the tape, like the tape, whatever. I'm like, I don't want to sprinkle, man. So fucking tough.
I know, it's as you said, I'm glad that we're so like on the same page about this, because as I told you, I've been writing about the show since it came out, and through the internet, people were telling me, it's not like I'm famous or anything, but some people commented on what I wrote, and they trust me because I watched the show because it was respectful to Pamela. But to be honest, as you said, it's exactly that. The show was very educational because, like you, I was not even born when this happened, and the only idea that I had of Pamela was, oh, she was in Baywatch, as same as you. And Tommy Lee, well, he's a rock and roll drummer, and that's that. And it was a very, I think that the fact that you and I agree so much on that, it's because the show was written so well. It was written in a way that it did represent what it meant, especially to her, what happened. And because it gave us like a new perspective of both of them, which was highly appreciated. Because probably we have the idea that Tommy Lee, was an asshole and that he was this and that, but he's human in the end, and we also could see those sides of him that probably were written into the show, but the fact that they added that kind of humanity to him, it blended well into the show. And with Pamela, it was better, because she was just trying to become a serious actress and to be taken seriously by people. And even if she had the talent, which I believe she had, she was not taken seriously even before the tape. People did not take her seriously. And it really hurts because, yeah, maybe she chose to do Playboy, but she was just trying to become someone and to be seen, and she thought that that was the way to do it, and she was proud of that. And then people just took that little decision that she made of becoming a model, and then just took that and twisted it against her, because they thought that they just had the right to see her body whenever they wanted to. So if I've seen people agree, with these ideas, and I'm glad because honestly, the show did achieve that. The show has its flaws, I'm not gonna lie, but it definitely gave some perspective, especially to a new generation. A new generation that's coming that people do not respect celebrities anymore, and they don't respect their privacy and their right to choose what is seen of them and what's not. And people think that they're entitled to see everything about a celebrity, and it's not like that. So I believe that even to this generation, the show is, relevant in more than in a lot of ways.
I do agree. Sometimes I'm just like, wow, like celebrities literally have nothing. Like they don't have any privacy. There's paparazzi everywhere. When they have their nudes leaked or something, it's like their problem or something. Like, well, don't take the picture. It's like everybody takes nudes, man. Like there's not a damn soul on this earth that doesn't take nudes. Like everybody does. There's no blaming the victim, and they blamed Pamela for literally everything, and that made me annoyed. And and I think that Pamela wanted to be an actress, that she wanted to do something with her life. Just because she did Playboy doesn't change the fact. Like a lot of people do OnlyFans, a lot of people do Patreon, whatever, and they do porn and they can move on to another stuff. But that's just the reality that we live in. Like if you want to do it, you do it. Like it's your body, your choice. Like if you want to show your tits out, like you can do it. Like nobody cares. Like that's just how because if you want to make money that way, you can make money that way. If you enjoy doing something like that, you can do it. But don't objectify women just because they do it. It makes me so angry to see that. There's a lot of porn stars out there who probably get disgusting DMs. I can imagine their DMs and it's nasty. A lot of people being texting them weird or DMing them extremely nasty shit. They're also human. They're human. We have no reason to objectify them, which people did to Pamela. because of her physique or like the way that she looks. I think that she looks amazingly beautiful. And with age, she just got even more beautiful. And like, it baffles me. It blows my mind that people do this. Like, whoever you are, people will do it. Like, a TikToker that I follow, um, he gets terrible DMs of girls being like, let me suck your dick or like whatever. Like it just makes me angry that we as a society do this. Like, I'm also gonna bring up Mike because he's like he's an amazing person and musician. Mike's dad, he gets really, really nasty DMs too. Like just because he's hot, he gets those DMs. Like of girls just thirsting over him. Like it's fine to thirst. Directly say it to somebody is fucking weird. Like it's weird. Like it's so weird. Like I thirst over Johnny Depp, because I love him. But like I'm not gonna sit here and DM Johnny Depp and be like, let me sit on your face. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like that's just so nasty. Like I respect him as a person, but I also respect him like respect his acting, respecting his privacy. Like we should be doing that. Yet these people, they are unhinged and they literally go after anything that moves, and that makes me angry. Like also the guy that stole the tape.
Yeah, mainly. I mean, it all began with that because, as you said, I love that during the show they literally took one whole episode to talk about Pamela. I feel like as much as I loved Sebastian, as I said, I loved watching him, I just thought that it was such a wise decision that they took a whole episode to talk about Pamela and what you said about the lawyers blaming her because they took that complete episode just for that deposition and to show like what they were thinking at the moment and to show that no matter how much time they wanted to take on that case, they didn't care and they would never defend her in reality. They would never take her side. Even if they pretended that they would, they didn't. And it really broke me when with that question that they asked her about when was the first time that you posed nude for a photo. What does that have to do with anything? It was one of the worst things that the show did to me because do you remember that part when she was just getting into the Playboy Mansion and then she was so self-conscious that she wanted to get the implants and that was not her sexualizing herself. She was just trying to fit in and to be like everybody else and it was really heartbreaking to see that, as you said, just because she chose to do that for money, which was completely valid, that after that they twisted things and they treated her, as you said, telling her things to her face because we all thirst over celebrities and that's like a fact. I've done that like my whole life. Um, but it's a whole new thing writing to them and telling them to their faces and asking them stuff, as you said in Jay Leno when he asked about the tape, it was so messed up that he even had the courage to ask that to her face. And it's just the whole show. I mean, now that we're talking about it, the whole show actually revolves around her because that was a point, I think. And maybe Pamela wasn't she didn't agree with it and she had the right to be angry about them making the show. But honestly, I don't think that they did her wrong, when writing this. And because she wasn't even approachable, because She didn't want to talk about it, but I do think that the show is like a mirror of what happens these days. It's just different now with the internet, but it's the same thing, you know. If people choose to do something, they shouldn't be blamed for it. And what I thought that was wrong with the show was all those scenes that you could see of, you know, quote, the pornographic industry, because I didn't feel like it was very necessary to show that, and not because oh, female nudity is such taboo, but because it did not serve the story or the purpose of the story. That's what I didn't like. Because honestly, you know, there are a lot of issues with the pornographic industry. Uh, Women suffer a lot. I mean, a lot of women suffer a lot with that. And I feel like they were making it as a joke on the show. So that's the thing that was wrong with that. They took it as a joke and it's not. Um, they could have probably avoided that.
Yeah, I mean, like Pornhub having child pornography or whatever it was, it's just so nasty. And like all the shit that happens, you know, to a woman, it's just really sad. Um, you know, like I think I think that Pamela like definitely deserved to tell her side of the story, what she is gonna do. Apparently, she's gonna release on Netflix, and I want to see it because I just want to see what it is. You know, um, I really do think that she's like a very great and intelligent person, and I think that she could definitely go for it. And Jay Leno can freaking catch these hands. Like that dude is a freaking asshole. That dude is an asshole, and I freaking hate him. The fact that he sat there and he was like talking about the tape as if it's funny, it's not funny. Like it's not funny. Like it's so disgusting. And that lawyer, I don't know where his house is, but I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna bury him in it. Like it makes me angry that he sat there and he was like, "When did you show your vagina? When did you show your boobs? When did you perform sex acts?" I'm like, "You're 70 years old. What kind of stupid question is this that you're gonna sit here and ask this woman a question that invades her privacy that has nothing to do with the tape? The tape was stolen from her, where she had a very romantic relationship with Tommy Lee, and they were in love, and they were in love, and they were in love. I don't, you know, later on, Tommy was a very abusive person. I'm not gonna go into that, but like the fact that like he sat there and asked that question, it got me furious. Like it got me angry. Like I don't even understand how it happened. Like the fact that she got recognized not because of her movie that she released, but because of her sex tape that was stolen. That was literally stolen from them. And at the end, that guy who stole the tape felt terrible about it, but bitch, it's too late. Too late. Like once you burn that bridge, it's over. Like you can't rebuild it. Like it's fucking dumb. Like it doesn't make any sense to me that you would. And sex workers and porn stars, they get a lot of shit for doing what they want, what they love, and that makes me fucking angry. Men sit here, objectify women for what they do and what they wear and whatever. But like, I'm gonna go on a separate rant. Wait for a second. I saw a TikToker talk about this. I unfollowed him completely. I'm fucking done. So like, I thought his content was funny, but now it's like you. Um, he was talking about the fact that covered girls. Um, he was like, I'm not attracted to covered girls because I touch. I'm very touchy and like you know they don't show their bodies, so I'm not attracted to them. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? Like, what kind of brain matter are you missing? Like, just because we're covered does not mean that we're not attractive. Just because we don't pop our pussy out loud, it does not mean anything. Like, it makes me angry that this is like a problem at this day and age. It's 2022, and men need to realize that covered girls are also very attractive and very beautiful. And I don't care what anybody says. Like, just because we don't show our bodies and we don't show our boobs or we don't show our whatever, it does not mean that we're ugly. It, we're saving our bodies for our husbands who can see us, and that's our choice. That's our choice. That's it. That's our choice. It's not your choice. It's my choice. Like, the fact that they can sit here and judge me just because I'm covered, and they're like, "Oh, I can't date you because you're covered." It's like, what kind of logic is this? That you're going to say this to me?
That opens like the whole topic, because um, it's what we were talking about with society, that it's it wants to condemn women no matter what, because taking that conscious, and that's like a great way to express it. um Pamela was condemned because she showed her whole body, and now, as you said, some people are also condemned because they don't show it. So society just decides that they can choose what to think of our bodies and what we do with them, because, as you said, he said that he doesn't like covered women, and it doesn't make sense, because then if a woman shows her body, then he's going to sexualize her and mistreat her and make whatever comment he wants about her. But with you, it's incorrect because he wants to see your body. So basically, it's this stupid idea that society has, that they can just decide what they do with our bodies. And that's basically the nutshell, like society in a nutshell. I mean, it's they never want us to decide what to do with our bodies. They want to decide what they do with them. And I think that was like the whole point of the show. And it's so great that you could relate to that, and many women relate to that, but mainly you, as someone who has been a covered person your whole life. It's that conscious that you simply don't understand. You cannot wrap your head around what society really wants from you, or what society wants to do about it. It's so contradicting and so infuriating, because it whatever we do, we're going to be judged and pointed at and frowned upon or whatever. And it's basically, I mean, that's what I enjoyed about the show, and they did it right. And it opens up, as you just did now, it opens up a lot of topics and a lot of little situations that we go through every day that men have no idea about.
He was like, I'm on that tape the same as you. It's like, no, being like, no, bitch, you're a man, and your dick was literally out, like in a concert. They had me crying, laughing, because that was the moment that I realized that Tommy had realized that it was not the same. It's not the same.
But it was the point that he made there was so weird, because at some point he was like, I'm on the tape the same as you. And what do you say about him choosing to show his dick on a concert? He even makes that point, I think, on the show. He says, but that was consent. I was consenting that people saw my dick. But then he goes and says all these comments, and he fools around with these guys that were praising him for the tape. So in reality, what we see is that he was just being a hypocrite, and he was just saying things to Pamela that she wanted to hear and not what he really thought. And it was a very conflicting choice that they made, because in some ways he really was supportive of Pamela and he really wanted to protect her, but he did not care the same way that she did. So it was a balance. I mean, it was something that we couldn't quite you know, have closure on, because some he was one person sometimes, and then he was a completely different person. And I think that was, I don't know if that was the idea of the show or some mistake that they made. I'm not sure, honestly, because as you said, they were in love, and that's something like of public knowledge. Because I don't know if you read it. I did. I read the Rolling Stone article, and it's like a public consensus that they really were in love. That was not, maybe, yeah, they got married in 4 days, and who does that? But it was love. I truly believe that they were in love, and that they were very happy with each other. Um, and honestly, maybe they would have lasted longer if this hadn't happened. And I think that that's what ruined the relationship. Maybe Tommy, yes, he was violent and he was abusive to her, towards the end. But I do believe that the tape tainted their relationship in a way that it shouldn't have, because they were just beginning when it happened, and they didn't even get time to enjoy their marriage, because as you said, they were even trying to have a baby, and they couldn't even enjoy that because media was all over them, and the media was so focused on the tape that they couldn't even ask how's the baby, and like the normal questions that the media would ask a couple if it wasn't tainted by the tape.
I think that, when she lost her baby, I was so sad. Like, I was so sad, bawling my eyes out. Like,
I was really crying on that episode.
that did not deserve that shit. Like, I also found a clip of Jay Leno talking to Pamela, and it's ugly. That man is ugly and annoying. Like, can you even sit here and say that shit? Like, it makes me angry. But like, that's a whole other subject. But like, but also, they have 2 children, and I searched them up because I was like curious. So, so I searched it up, and one of them looks exactly like Tommy, like exactly like Tommy. The other one is more closer to Pamela, but like the fact that they see their kids, like they continue to see each other, like see their kids together, like the fact that they were like a family but not really like a family, made my heart grow like several sizes. Like that was just adorable. Like, and as you said, maybe if the tape was not released, it would have been better. Maybe like Tommy would have been less violent. I feel like as time progressed, he got more angry. Also because Motley Q was not relevant anymore because people were like over it, as they are with Kiss and Guns N' Roses or like Aerosmith. People were over it. But like, because like the new genre of music is different now. Now it's just like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. And not that they're bad, but like I love their music, but like still like music has progressed. Like it went to a new dimension. There's also like metalcore and deathcore, which I love. And then there's, other genres. It's not just like dad rock anymore. It's not like Dean Winchester vibes anymore. It's moved on. But like, but like, I think that was a reason of his sadness too. Like, I think that he was a little sad about it. But like, but if the tape was not released, I felt like they would have still been together. That's just my take on it. It's my opinion. Do not attack me on Twitter, please.
I think that that's a very valid opinion, and honestly, I think that too. And I also think that that was something that the writers probably wanted to achieve, to demonstrate that the tape really ruined a lot of things for them. And that people outside and people that consumed this content did not realize what they were doing to them, and did not realize how serious it was and how it affected their lives, because they were so happy, and it was all fine, until this happened. And it was so funny to me that, when they just got married and they realized they don't know anything about each other. And even after that weird and awkward moment of, right, we don't know each other, they kept going, and they worked on their relationship and made it better, and worked on their marriage until the tape was stolen. So I do think that the tape had a lot to do with the crumbling of their marriage and who Tommy became, which was an obvious subject on the show. Because at first he was this carefree person, he was happy, he was crazy, whatever, and he progressed into this angry and sad musician. And I love that they included this part of him, that as you said, that his band was not relevant anymore, because maybe it didn't take off the spotlight from Pamela, but it did show that human side of him that was actually sad that he was losing his fame, and that he was, he's only human, and he was totally entitled to feel sad and to feel angry about new bands coming in and all the work that he had put into the music for it to just be thrown away like that. So I think that what the show did was show us the right perspectives of the story and the right amount of content, because maybe they did show what Tommy went through, but it did not lose focus on what Pamela went through. And that was a balance that was necessary, because if it had focused 50-50 on Tommy and Pamela, maybe it wouldn't have worked. So that little space that they gave to Tommy was right, and then they went back to Pamela again, and I feel like that was a balance that kept the show, serious and real. And as you said, what made me angry in the end was this guy that suddenly got the magical revelation that he had done something wrong. That was so wrong. He did not deserve that, because how can a person that took so much time and that put so much work into stealing the tape and then looking for distribution and doing everything that he did to hurt these people, how can he, within a year or less, suddenly be aware that he had made a mistake? I feel like that was the little mistake that the show made. Like, probably they tried to make us empathize with him, but they didn't, because they didn't achieve that. Because I was still angry at him, and I was still thinking, this guy is a jerk. This guy does not deserve redemption. He broke so much within these people. He broke their privacy. He broke their marriage. He broke their fame and basically he broke Pamela's career. And that's something that he is totally to blame for. He broke her career. She was trying so hard, and she would have achieved it if she hadn't become the joke that he made her become. So I feel like that's the mistake that the show made, like trying to find redemption for this man that he did not deserve. Because it was a very heartbreaking scene that when Tommy goes and tells him, "What did Pamela ever do to you?" And I was in tears in that scene, because it obviously it's a lot a credit to Sebastian, but I was like, he is so right. He was like, I don't care what you do to me, because I honestly do not care that I am in the tape. And I think that that was a very honest uh, confession that he made. He said, I don't care that I'm in the tape, but she does, and I care that she is in the tape. So maybe they wanted to take that little revelation that Tommy did for this guy, Rand, but I was not happy about how this character ended.
Sometimes it's like um, I go into a TV show thinking that it's gonna be like, mid. I'm like, oh, it's whatever. So I started watching it. I'm like, oh my god, this is fucking on. And like, and I remember texting you when this happened, when his dick started talking to him, which scarred my life. Literally, my brain was like,
I think that I have dreams about that, and I do not mean that in a good way. It was horrible, and I feel so sad because Sebastian said that he was very, very, he who was not comfortable with that. He was like, everybody was watching me. I did not want everybody watching me do that. But yeah, it's
like it was out, literally just. And like, in the fact that Tommy Lee had written it in his diary had me fucking crying. Like the fact that this man sat here and wrote it, and his dick talked to him, I just can't even process that. Also, like, the show was very, very wild in a lot of sense. But the fact that he acknowledged that Pamela was like a good and generous and beautiful person, and he said it to her, said it to the man that stole the tape, I was like, oh, redemption arc.
I mean, that's what I say. I mean, for Tommy, it definitely was a redemption arc because one, he admitted that he did not care that he was in the tape, and two, he admitted that what he cared about was her. So yeah, it's one of the best redemption arcs, and it was so brief, but it was so well done.
The fact that these people are real, like real people.
And going back to that very scarring scene, um, I feel like I feel like Tommy Lee, Tommy, uh, probably had something to do with it because Sebastian said that he approached him, and Sebastian is a very sweet person, and he said that Tommy was very nice to him and that he was very sweet to him, and I was so shocked because I was like, Tommy Lee was very sweet to Sebastian said, and it was a very I did not know how to react to that, but Sebastian said that. So maybe Tommy Lee had something to do with the show, including that scene. Um, but yeah, I feel like the redemption that he had it was well done, and it wasn't fair. I mean, I'm not, but what he said and what he did, and him burning the money, it was so powerful. It was a very well done scene. And what broke me even more was when Pamela calls him, and he's in the car and he's like, "I'm doing everything for this woman." It was a wrecking scene, a wrecking conversation for me. Um, it's I feel like with this show we will never have one formed opinion of this man. Of Pamela, it's easy. It's obvious that she was, you empathize with her and you love her and you learn from her. But with Tommy, it's so conflicting, and I'm never going to have an opinion on this man because it's a problem.
Yeah, he's a different person. Like the fact that I'm like a fan of Motley Crue is like the moment that I started becoming a fan, which was like 10 years ago, like when I was like 2012-ish, like when I started listening to Motley Crue and like Kiss and like whatever, like I started getting my Dean Winchester phase. Um, so like I knew a little bit about him before going into this. I knew that Tommy was an asshole, but like a few days ago, I watched a video of him reacting to little kids listening to Motley Crue, and I was like, this man is what? Like, he was actually really, really nice. Like the fact that he was nice in that video, I was like, what? And like, I saw the Howard Stern show with Pamela Anderson. I saw like a little bit of a clip of it, but I'm gonna watch the whole thing. I'm planning to do that. But like the fact that she still interacted with him after their divorce, like, but he was getting very abusive towards her, which I definitely do understand the divorce. Like he was very, very abusive. He went into a full like asshole mode. And like I think that this really runs with most rock stars, you know, like they get into cocaine, they get into heroin, they get into whatever, and he was doing all of it. Like the interview was like, I did cocaine, I did heroin, I did whatever. I'm like, bitch, you literally did everything. So like I think that the drugs were also like a contributing thing to him being violent, which you know,
It's not. It's not an excuse, but it makes sense.
it's not an excuse for his behavior. It really isn't. That's what I was getting into, but like it's not an excuse. He's still an asshole, but it also contributed to him being violent. Um, but like the fact that Sebastian had approached Tommy has. I want to see that interaction. I want to see it because that's so funny to me.
I so wanted to see that. When Sebastian mentioned it, I was like, I need that phone call or whatever it was, to see what happened there. Because mainly I would have liked to see the reaction of Tommy, like, hey, and because Sebastian said that, he said, hey man, I'm playing you on the show. I would die to see Tommy Lee's reaction to Sebastian, because Sebastian does not look anything like him until he turns into the character. So I cannot imagine Tommy's reaction being like, who's this guy? And he does not look like me. He has blue eyes for starters. And so it's a whole deal. And as you said, Tommy Lee got very violent. And that was a point that I wanted to make, because the show ended with the show ended very well. And maybe they did show that little scene where Tommy throws the papers on Pamela's face, and you get hit, you know, by, oh my god, he's going to start getting violent and stuff, and then that's the limit, and that's where it stops. And I feel like it was a good choice that they didn't get to the end where actually there was evidence, or at least you know, some clues that he was being violent to her, because mainly it would have been a lot more problematic for the media and for entertainment to show something like that. And maybe they did it to avoid issues with Tommy. Um, but Sebastian even said that he was glad that they did not include that, because they gave the character, you know, they gave these people a fair ending. And that little scene at the end with Pamela looking at Tommy's picture, bitch, it broke me. I did not know what to make of that. She was getting the tattoo removed from her finger, but she was staring at the picture thinking, I still love this man, and I'm so sad that we got ruined by this thing. I feel like that was both the two things that went through her head, and that really, you know, made her take that decision, you know, that they were very happy, but they got ruined by this, and maybe it wouldn't have happened without the tape. And that's basically the conclusion of what this show probably wanted to you know, give the audience. Like, listen, people ruin everything for celebrities, and people are responsible for so much of what celebrities think of themselves and what celebrities do about their lives. And we as part of the Supernatural fandom are very aware of that, because people with celebrities never know the line, and they never know how far they can go until it is a problem, and until they are, you know, disrespecting a person. That probably you can say whatever you want about a character, but you have to draw the line between character and actor. And I think that that's what people never do when they get too invested into a fandom or into a celebrity.
People tried to cancel Sebastian Stan
because he was with the girlfriend. Yeah,
I was like, like, you even sit here and search things up, or even look at stuff, or even just be a human. Like, yes, she did racist shit. Yes, she did. I mean, I searched it up. I looked at it.
Yeah, I saw that. But like they weren't even dating when she did these things. And I mean, Sebastian is a very wise person when he does not publicize his life, because he went public with this girlfriend like months into the relationship. And he, I mean, first there were some paparazzi pictures, I think. And after that, he was like, okay, people know about this. I'm gonna go public. And he literally just posted like some pictures, and he never talked about her. And I have never seen her talk about him. So, I mean, how can you make a man problematic if he doesn't even post on his social media? He doesn't even have Twitter. He just has Instagram, and that's it. And it's, I mean, it's crazy how it has evolved, from when we didn't have internet and people still made comments and felt like they could talk about a celebrity's life, and now that it's gotten like 1,000 times worse. Because, I mean, as you said, like people don't even know these celebrities, and I don't know why people like to make a problem out of things. It's why can we all be so chill about things? I don't get it.
Like a society where we just become friends.
We could all be friends, except for the Winchesters. We could never be friends with the Winchesters, but we could definitely like just leave them alone and respect them as the actors that they are.
Yeah, like, can we as a society just accept the fact that other people have different opinions? Like, we don't have to have the same opinion. We don't have to have the same shit. We don't have to have that. We can just be friends. Like, we can interact with each other and have the same opinion.
Because it's a very problematic world out there. And basically, like, we're all condemned. I mean, we can all be condemned for just one little thing that we do. And if we go back to the show, it's like we can be condemned for something that we didn't even do. And it's a problem. And I wish we could talk about this a lot more, like we could talk about this like for like 1,000 more hours. But I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to add to what we were talking about, Pam and Tommy.
Yeah, just to wrap this up and not get into any other tangents. Um, it's just me. I'm just so damn unhinged today. Like I mean, I'm just out of the world. But like, the thing that I wanted to say is, I think that Pam and Tommy was a very good TV show, and I know that Pamela didn't consent to it. She didn't really want anything to do with it. She's gonna release her own thing, but this is just my opinion. It's just take it as you will. Like, take it with like a grain of salt. But all I say is this: it was a good TV show, and I learned a lot. And it didn't just focus on Tommy Lee or whatever, but it focused on Pamela and how she just became a new a person that was ridiculed and that was spit on for making a sex thing, or just like, or having her nudes out there or whatever. She was ridiculed for it as a woman, and not, as a woman. So I think that that it was a good TV show, and I think Sebastian did a very good job, and I think that man is very sexy, and he deserves his own. I think I love him, and I think that he definitely, deserves his own Oscar or whatever the fuck they give for this. I mean, he deserves something because his performance was fucking great, and also the scenes where he was like playing the drums and like being a rock star was hot, and I did not know this until I googled it, but Tommy Lee played the drums while he was inside of a roller coaster, That is a fucking. I just and also uh, as I'm a fan of Sebastian Stan. I've seen most of his films. I think he's a very talented person, and he deserves the world. But also the Lily James, amazing performance. Freaking 10 out of 10. That woman is beautiful. Like I loved it. She looked just like Pamela, which blew my mind. And she gave a really good performance. She was amazing. I love her. I did not know that she was British, which blew my mind. But honestly, it's a good TV show to watch, just to learn stuff. Um, just to. And also, you can like educate yourself and research it, and like Google it, like I did, and maybe learn some more stuff. And it's good to learn these things. And now I can't listen to Motley Crue the same way. When I listen to Kickstart My Heart, I think about that scene where they're like at the doctor and there's like ultrasound, and then you can hear the heartbeat, and he's like, "Kickstart my heart." I'm like, I love you so much. And it made my heart very, very warm, and it was just very great. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
I have to agree with that, that it's a very good show and that people were, I mean, it's fair that people had their doubts about the show because obviously, um, it's now the society that we live in is a little bit more, aware of these issues and they do not want to be seen as uh, problematic people. But I do think that the show was very well done and it was, as you said, it focused on Pamela, which was the important thing, and it put Tommy like on the second, like on the back, like he was part of that, but he did not understand that, so they played with that a lot. So I think that that was something that they did well, and obviously I am praying and I'm going to send a letter to the Emmys for them to give an award to Sebastian Stan for this because he deserves it, and Lily deserves it too because I mean Sebastian learned to play the drums and Lily took out her accent and her voice because her voice was really different. And fun fact, Sebastian said that he had to yell into a pillow to get his voice to be like rough and to be like that. So, I mean, the type of actor that he is, it's mind blowing. And I feel like the show even picked the right people for this. And as you said, like the music and everything that played into the show was, I mean, everything went well and everything just fell into place with this show. The music, the writing, everything was just right on the right place and at the right time. So that's like the consensus for the show. We're going to wrap it up for tonight. I'm so glad that we got back to the podcast and that we finally got all of our opinions about the show out. And a little reminder to our viewers to subscribe to our channel and to even give opinions if they have them, and to suggest if they want us to talk about a TV show or a movie, it would be great. So thank you for listening to our podcast. We are the Chaotic Angels with Shotguns. I'm Allie.
And I'm Casey.
And we are going to see you next week.
Yes, we are. I wasn't gonna talk about this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Whatever. Like I'm unhinged today. I'm gonna start talking. So like the fact that Jared gets so much hate all the damn time, and he makes me fucking angry. You know why? Because this man is beautiful. He's a gentle giant, and the fact that these people sit here and they hate on him and they make threads about him, being obsessed with him. Like if you hate a person,
why are you making a big deal out of it? Yeah.
It just makes me angry. It blows my mind. And like, I'm not gonna bring this up, but I'm gonna just say it because I'm unhinged. So I'm just throw it out there. But like, if somebody makes a mistake, it's called a mistake for a reason. Like a mistake is a mistake. Just but like if any other person makes a mistake that they like, it's like, oh, it's just a mistake, like whatever, like whatever, like we can forgive him. But if Jared makes a mistake or if he breathes wrong, people are like, oh my god, just Jared. And then these people sit on the internet and they yell about somebody who literally made a mistake. Makes me angry.
I mean, I was thinking the other day, like, exactly what you said. If you hate this man so much, just unfollow him, or just, turn off the notifications for his content or whatever. Because what is the point in throwing hate and on invalidating like a person's opinions or a person's relationship with someone else? Because they even try to like ruin the relationship that both Jens and Jared and Misha have, and they always try to ruin that and to say, oh, they hate each other, or they hate Misha or whatever. And it's like, can you please stop? Because I'm very new to the fandom, and I bet I have missed a lot of stuff, but I'm just here minding my business, trying to stand all of them because I love them all, and people don't let me stand all of them. People don't let me. It's like they always make me question things. They start with this, Jared made this comment, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check it out, see what he said, and I read it, and I'm like, but what is the problem with that? And probably Jared has a weird way of saying things, but he doesn't mean to be wrong. I mean, probably Jared isn't as eloquent as Jensen, because Jensen is a very eloquent person, but Jared isn't. And then people will be like, but he said this and he thinks this, and his kids, and they get Jen involved and they get the Neil involved, and it's a very painful fandom. And we circle back to the internet and problems of the internet. And why do people think that they have the right of busting into a celebrity's life and just throwing opinions like they mean nothing?
And they find stuff that's not problematic and they make it problematic. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, he replies to Wincesties or whatever. I'm like,
how can he know that they are Wincesties? I mean, he's not going to like be on his phone and check each profile and be like, oh, this person is a Wincesty, I'm gonna reply to them. I really doubt that he does that. I really don't think that he does that.
It's so mind-blowing that they sit here and then they're like, why didn't he look at the act? I'm like, he probably doesn't even read that.
He doesn't even read the usernames or the profile pictures. He just reads, like the tweet, and that's that. I mean,